Hello, good evening. You're watching the Founders Day edition of News 360, coming to you live from the News Hub here at Adesawe Kanda. I am Portia Gabo.
And I am Martin Asiedu Date. These are the headlines for the next 1 hour.
News 360 headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal,
EcoBank.
More pressure on government to declare a state of emergency on illegal mining has fixed the country. Protesters call for decisive action.
We'll go to the Savana region where displaced residents in the Bole and Solatuna Kalba district return home to church services, a significant step to peace.
Also coming up, First Lady Lodina Mahama calls for effective leadership to protect children caught up in war-torn areas.
On the international front, Botswana declares public holiday after historic athletic gold medal.
We are live around the world on 3news.com, and it's been a holiday. How have you spent it? We'll be happy to hear your thoughts on the comment section.
The news now in detail. On day 2 of an anti-galamsey protest led by the pressure group Fix the Country is in earnest, with renewed calls for government to declare a state of emergency. Conveners of the protest say ills committed against the environment must end, urging government to rethink effective solutions to the illegal mining menace. A report by Stanley Niblu.
The protest seeks to amplify calls by the clergy and environmental activists to compel government to act decisively against inappropriate mining practices, destroying water bodies, farmlands and forest cover, while exposing citizens to serious health risk. Following a vigil on day 1, the group marched from the Accra Mall enclave to the seat of government to present its concerns. Key among them is the demand for a state of emergency, which they believe would allow government to suspend operations in the mining sector, reflect on the current situation, and develop comprehensive solutions to curb the menace. This situation was reinforced by the lead convener, Osajifu Oliver Bakavomawo, who stressed that the extent of environmental destruction and lives lost present enough justification for declaring a state of emergency.
We all have a role to play, but those who have power to act must. And if choose a complicit in the process, they must be brought to account for it. That's what is important. So Galamsey, my friend, that's it. And we'll keep doing this. We keep talking. We keep coming out to the end. And my hope is that this crisis does not engulf the Fourth Republic. That's why the survival of this democracy is at stake. So we must treat it with the emergency that it demands.
It should halt every Galamsey site. It should put a state of emergency first. After that, we will cross the bridge.
Activist Nadenswa, who was previously arrested for championing same cause during the previous regime, has returned to the street with her grandchildren, calling on duty bearers to protect the environment for future generations.
Their mother is home pregnant with another baby. What future does that baby have? We are here today to ask the father of all to take them like his beautiful Farida. They too, they want the treatment Farida has got. Clean water, healthy food, and good air to breathe. That's all they're asking for. They're not asking for money. They just want clean air, clean water, and healthy food. Just so that they can grow up to be like beautiful Farida. That is all we ask for.
Independent presidential candidate Kofi Krantin, who joined the protest, expressed disappointment in government's handling of the Galamsey fight.
With the powers that the president has, he can fix this problem. Because, see, we know everybody who's involved in Galamsey. We have their names because we gave them licenses. So what's the big deal? We gave them the concessions, we gave them the licenses. So we know where they are. So why can't we stop them?
When we talk about Galamsey, people just think it's illegal.
we have legal miners who are actually destroying our water bodies as well. So if it's legally signed contracts, you can terminate that contract, because I would love for you to put the state's money at stake than the state's lives at stake. Because one day, if the country is in debt, surely we will pay our debt and be truly free. But when we lose countless lives, I don't know when we are going to resurrect them.
Other activists also criticized the opposition New Patriotic Party for seeking political gains from the crisis, noting that illegal mining worsened significantly during its tenure.
It is also not surprising that the MPP members today are actually touring galamsey-prone areas and granting interviews and covering shooting documentaries. It means you knew back then that there was an error, but because your party was in power and you were enjoying at the expense of someone's life, you didn't speak. Now that you are out of power, you are speaking. It tells of how poorly nurtured we are. We've lost ourselves because of money. But for some of us, I can tell you, we are proud and loyal sons of the taproot of our land, which is Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. No one can buy us out.
The second day of the protest underscores a growing national frustration over government's handling of illegal mining. With pressure mounting from citizens, civil society, and political actors alike, protesters say the call for a state of emergency is not just urgent, but necessary to safeguard the country's environment and future. Stanley Niblew, TV3 News, Accra.
Certainly, we all need to put our shoulder to the wheel to rid our land of illegal mining, which is, destroying our water bodies and forest reserves. And the campaign here at Media General will continue unabated as we keep government and decision makers in check to ensure that our generation and generations yet to come can get good water to drink and at least beautiful flora and fauna to stay in. Let's turn our attention to some other stories now. For the first time since violence broke out communal clashes broke out, which displaced more than 13,000 residents in the Bole and Sola-Tuna Kalba districts, returnees in Bole have gathered for a service. That was yesterday when they went to church. The development is being seen as a major step in the ongoing peace-building process.
The IGP Special Operations Team, as part of its daily routines operations, provided security on Sunday, September 21, 2025, to reassure residents and maintain order. Led by senior officers including DSP Augustine Dawson Amwa and DSP Karim Mahama, patrols were mounted across conflict-prone areas, marketplaces, hospital access routes, and places of worship. The visibility of security personnel restored confidence, with many residents seen going about their daily activities. In Bale, the local church, previously deserted at the height of the conflict, was filled with worshippers for the first time in months.
Lord, I pray May the discernment of thy power be with us, O God. And those who save us.
Security officials say the well-attended service is evidence of growing public trust and a sign that displaced persons are gradually resettling.
If you see us today, this morning, our purpose is to give you that assurance that the police is there for everybody.
Similar signs of recovery were recorded in other returning communities, such as Penayiri, Mandari, Gentige, Tumbuyiri, Horuyiri, and Chenchiri, where economic activities are slowly picking up. The Special Operations Team engaged residents directly, assuring them of continued protection and encouraging them to reach out to relatives still in refuge to return home.
I want to appeal to you that the police is here for your safety. Our brothers and sisters who are still at large in the bushes in Côte d'Ivoire, let them know that the police service is here to provide you with security so that you can go about your farming businesses without fear of being attacked by anybody.
And for the night, sometimes it's dangerous because you will be alone and they will come in the night. So if you yourself is trying to maybe defend or your animals or anything like that, you will end up by losing your life too.
When you phone a worker, no one almost want to tell you every day. Listen, you may only tell now, step pass, I will say, Yamma, or Mumbra, dear Mumma,
With no incidents reported during the day's operations, security officials say the success of the Sunday's patrol demonstrate that reconciliation and peace efforts in Bole and Solatuna Kaba districts are beginning to yield results. The team remains on standby for night patrols as part of its 24-hour security plan to consolidate peace in the district as the curfew remain in force. Stanley Nibleu, TV3 News.
Let's now go to the Bono East region, and in the remote community of Abasi, located in the region, a profound lack of opportunity has created a generational cycle of poverty that is trapping residents and pushing them towards desperation. This crisis is seen in the lives of people like Akosia Chia and Kwejo, whose stories highlight the systemic failures plaguing the area.
During a usual work routine in Abasi, I chanced on Akosia, an elderly woman who lives with her grandson. At 70, Akosia feels a deep sense of resignation. According to her, the struggle for survival here is tough. Life here is so difficult. Sometimes money to even cook is a problem. It barely rains here, so our produce is nothing to write home about. Because of this, the youth here are resorting to thievery and unapproved behaviors. But these wouldn't have happened if there were job opportunities in this area. This environment has left the youth with little to no hope, making them receptive to social vices. Without productive outlets for their energy and ambition, many turn to risky behaviors and petty crimes, further damaging their future. These concerns were highlighted by Kwejo, a farmer in his 60s who has dedicated his entire life to tilling the soil. He has 10 children and 15 grandchildren, yet has nothing to show for his decades of labor. This work is not profiting. Even taking care of my kids through school is so difficult. Even when you force and take them through school, the jobs are not available. So it's actually a waste of our money and time. This sentiment reflects a widespread belief in Abasi that the only way to escape poverty is to migrate. And this is Kwejo's only hope to help his son escape poverty. Now my only hope is for him to travel outside for greener pastures. That way, he can make a better life. A 2023 Population and Housing Thematic Report on Migration disclosed that 77% of Ghana's population between the ages of 20 to 49 were leaving to explore greener pastures in the diaspora. This has left communities like Abasi with a diminishing pool of skilled, able-bodied workers. The absence of these young people hurts sectors like healthcare, education, and agriculture, preventing the very growth and innovation needed to uplift the region. Belinda Tete, TV3 News, Abasi.
The Upper West region has recorded a significant surge in attempted suicide cases in the first half of 2025, with 26 reported cases. Correspondent Ibrahim Wangara reports that the prevalence is dominant among people between the ages of 26 and 43.
Globally, suicide claims a little over 700,000 lives annually, with the Upper West region recording a surge in attempted suicide cases in the first half of 2025, with 26 reported cases. This marks a substantial increase from the 9 attempted cases reported in 2023 and 12 cases in 2024. Regrettably, the region also recorded 1 completed suicide case involving a man during this period.
Suicide is one taking steps to deliberately or intentionally take his or her own life. So in 2023, we have 9 people attempting suicide. 2024, fast forward, it slightly adjusted to 12. But half year 2025, as we speak, it has astronomically shot up to 26. These are even reported cases.
Meanwhile, health authorities in the region say women are the most involved in suicide attempts, with men being more successful in doing so. Regional Mental Health Officer Basingnia Sylvester mentions the triggers behind these suicides and their attempted cases.
I think notably among the factors or the triggers of this suicide has to do with relationships, marital problems, that is breakups, disappointments here and there. So depression is one condition that usually make people wanting to actually take off their lives or die by suicide. Another condition is bipolar, where you have mood swings. Alcohol use and psychoactive substances generally is another factor.
The trend echoes a national concern as Ghana recorded 543 attempted suicides and 81 completed suicides in the first half of 2024. The Mental Health Authority emphasizes that suicide is preventable and encourages individuals to seek help. Ibrahim Wangara, TV3 News, Upper West Region.
And clearly today is the 22nd of September. It's a holiday. Why? Because yesterday, the 21st of September, was Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's birthday. And on the back of that, the country is observing and celebrating this great man.
Exactly. And as we celebrate Founders Day, some leading figures of the Convention People's Party in the Volta region are calling for the return of members who deserted the party for other political parties as reorganization processes commence. As part of activities to mark Founders Day celebration, the party has opened a new office in the Ketu North constituency with the aim to regroup and better its electoral fortunes.
The battle has ended.
When Ghana's independence was declared in 1957, it was the CPP that went into history as the political party used to achieve that status for a country that had been colonized since 1874. But the glory days of the CPP ended almost immediately after the overthrow of Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, the party's founder and first president of Ghana in 1966. At the polls, the party struggled, failing to make any meaningful impact, particularly in this Fourth Republic.
It is very obvious, very clear, that the CPP has not been performing very well in the Fourth Republic. There are so many factors that cause all this. We identified our problems, and we are working towards readdressing them, making sure that CPP has become what it was during Osadifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's time, to make it a political force to reckon with again.
At an event held in Georgia in the Ketunov constituency, where a handful of party members gathered to mark the Founders' Day celebration, calls have been made for the return of all party members who have since deserted Nkrumah's party as reorganization processes commence.
The truth must be told. We are not doing well at all. This time around, we expect all members of CPP to think about togetherness. Apart from that, then we are going to fall and fall, continue falling and fall down.
The event was also used to open a constituency office in Georgia. Faisal Abdul Idrisu, TV3 News.
Let's take you on a quick trip to New York, because over 200 world leaders are expected to be in New York, and that will include Ghana's President John Dramani Mahama, who will address the high-level debate of the United Nations General Assembly. Presidential Affairs correspondent Komala Kluche reports that President Mahama has arrived in New York 8 years after his last address to the world. Let's go through this for this report. Security at the 80th United Nations General Assembly will be tighter than ever. Some 200 world leaders are expected to fly into New York City at a period when global conflicts are raging. Topmost, Gaza, Israel, Russia, and Ukraine. Those tensions will be reflected at the United Nations. The quiet before the storm that will bring New York City to its annual gridlock. U.S. Head of State Donald Trump will address the world on Tuesday. Ghana has had a strong representation at the United Nations in times past. But for John Mahama's famous entry into the United Nations building in 2012, after assuming the reins of power, made waves and international headlines.
It's not sympathy we want, it's partnership. The ability to stand on our own feet. It's not handouts we're in search of, it's opportunities. We've already shown with time and the right opportunity, Africa can make it.
John Mahama has maintained a strong international reputation with his command over global issues that had earned him leadership slots even whilst out of administration 8 years ago, upon returning to the reins of power for a final 4-year term and leading the charge to ensure that reparative justices perform their mandates effectively. A strong point he intends to push firmly at a high-level debate on Thursday. In the United States, expectations from Ghanaians are high.
We are expecting him to deliver, and he will deliver as expected. He is a strong man. He's a man with a lot of expertise, and we expect that, yes, he will live up to expectation.
Those of us in the healthcare in the diaspora, we can see that he's doing a very good job. Very soon, we will not have a case whereby people have to be flown from Ghana to the diaspora to seek any healthcare.
In his capacity as the African Union's champion for financial institutions, he will host 2 significant side events, including crucial bilateral meetings with the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, various heads of state and global leaders such as the president of the Rockefeller Foundation. But the president will also engage with the U.S. Africa Chamber of Commerce and make history by visiting NASDAQ, where he is expected to ring the closing bell. Komala Kluche, TV3 News, 45th Street, United Nations Headquarters, New York.
Meanwhile, the 2025 high-level plenary session of the United Nations has commenced with calls for ceasefire, peace, justice, equal rights, sustainable development and prosperity for all women. Ghana's First Lady, Lordina Mahama, has called for effective leadership aimed at protecting vulnerable children caught up in war-torn areas. Kamila Kluche has the following reports from New York.
Better Together, 80 years and more for peace, development and human rights, a reflection of the anniversary of the United Nations, founded in 1945, 80 years ago, underscoring the call for renewed global commitment and multilateralism, solidarity, shared action for people. Opening the high-level plenary section of the United Nations headquarters, Secretary General Antonio Guterres says world peace longed for must become a reality as humanity needs it. A major concern for Antonio Guterres is the 30 years of the Beijing Convention that has not materialized as expected.
The principles of the United Nations are under assault as never before. As we meet, civilians are targeted and international law trampled in Gaza, the Ukraine, Sudan, and beyond. To meet these challenges, we must not only defend the United Nations, we must strengthen it. And that is the purpose of Agenda 2030, the Pact for the Future, and the UN80 initiative, to renew the foundations of international cooperation and to ensure that we can deliver for people everywhere.
Former Liberian head of state, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, painted a gloomy picture of the African story.
Our shared cradle of resilience and hope, where democracy is weakening, where fractures across borders from Sudan to the Sahel to the Great Lakes strain our regional architecture. Across Africa, communities stand up to extreme violence. Regional bodies mediate transitions, and women's groups negotiate truces.
But the big day of the United Nations headquarters is for the President of the United States, Donald Trump, who will on Tuesday kickstart the high-level debate. On the sidelines, the First Lady, Lordina Mahama, has been speaking at the 7th annual prayer service for children of the United Nations. In her remark, she called for decisive leadership for the vulnerable as children are affected by conflict and humanitarian crisis.
A significant number of children are in Africa, where they are robbed of their childhood, forced to fight and go through terrible experiences. These are precious lives, destroyed by circumstances beyond their control.
Meanwhile, Ghana's Foreign Minister Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa has had bilateral engagement with colleague foreign ministers of the Commonwealth of Nations.
The Commonwealth must continue to champion democracy, rule of law, and human rights. Ghana encourages broad citizen engagement, equal access to justice, and accountability in government. While we commend the Secretariat's reform agenda, Ghana believes there is need to strengthen its visibility and relevance at the national level.
A renewed spirit of partnership and growth for Ghana's development. Kamila Kluche, TV3 News, United Nations Headquarters, New York.
And here from the studios of the Subway in Accra, where Kamila is in New York, we are in Accra. We are taking a quick break. We'll be back with more. Stay with us. University Ghana has held its 9th graduation ceremony, celebrating the achievements. Students received degrees across various disciplines, marking the end of their academic journey.
Students from Ghana, Nigeria, Benin, Ivory Coast, Congo, and Sierra Leone were honored for their academic excellence with awards presented to outstanding graduates. Director of International Research Professor Kirk Semple encouraged graduates to embrace global opportunities. Dean of Engineering at the University of Ghana, Professor Elsie Efa Kaufman, urged graduates to stay resilient in a fast-changing world. Provost and CEO of Lancaster University Ghana, Dr. Emmanuel Arthur, expressed confidence in the graduates' potential to make meaningful impact.
The university that our students come to is rated in the top 10 of the UK universities. The fact that when a student graduates from this university, he gets a global degree, a global certificate of Lancaster University UK, not Lancaster University Ghana, that makes them very competitive. And the fact that our students are achieving successes, both in academic, industry, and entrepreneurial abilities, attests to what we are achieving and doing here as an institution. And I'm very, very positive that this is only the beginning. And as a university, we'll go better in successive years.
Chancellor's Medal recipient and valedictorian Adeline Anyele Ayesoa shared her excitement and hopes to apply her education to future challenges.
I'm looking forward to applying what I've learned in class into real-life challenges, being creative and innovative with coming up with solutions for any challenge or issue I'm faced with.
Since its establishment in 2013, Lancaster University Ghana has experienced significant growth with over 700 alumni.
In more news tonight, if you're hoping to manage money wisely, a new array of books are up on the closest bookshelf near you. The latest book for the young and old are expected to enhance not just the savings culture, but also bolster investments as well.
Money matters, but for many Ghanaians, managing it wisely remains a challenge. That's the gap a new collection of financial literacy books is seeking to close by, equipping both adults and children with the ABCs of money management. With more than 68% of Ghanaians being financially illiterate, the need is urgent. Poor investment choices remain widespread, even as the Bank of Ghana intensifies its education campaigns.
From the statistics, it means that too many of our citizens are vulnerable to poor financial decisions, unsustainable debt, and painful losses that come with unregulated investment schemes. This is why the Bank of Ghana has consistently championed financial education through consumer protection guidelines, financial inclusion strategies, and our work with schools and communities.
The books are the outcome of a 5-year journey, one that began in the wake of Ghana's 2018 to 2019 financial sector cleanup.
We all have to make the effort to be financially literate about what is it. It's about when I decided to put this together. I was actually doing it on Facebook. Those who follow me on Facebook will see I used to write your money, and I'll take basic investments, then I'll explain how it works. I'll take life insurance, I'll explain how it works. Then a friend just asked me, why don't you turn this into a book? So that is how the whole thing started.
That vision has now produced 4 titles, 2 for adults, that is Mastering Your Money and Digital Financial Literacy, and 2 written specifically for children, Empowering Little Minds and Money Smart Kids, all designed to raise a generation that is financially confident and future ready. And from the classroom to the home, the message is consistent. Financial literacy must begin early. For author Koshi Jokoto, this launch is not the end, but the start of a much bigger national movement.
The first Pink Table Brutal Fruit Spritzer show has been held, following its initial launch in October 2024. The brand's year-long theme, Road to South Africa promotion, has culminated in its first exclusive draw. Elizabeth Walker was crowned the lucky winner, securing a luxurious all-expenses-paid trip to South Africa for herself and a companion of her choice.
Speaking at the event, Brand's manager, Emanuela Odamti, detailed the draw's terms and conditions.
The pink table is a unique space that has been created by Brutal Fruits to give our ladies access to an elegant experience. You just have to buy 2 bottles of Brutal Fruits from any of the selected outlets that we are working with. A promoter will engage you to register you on our platform. After every period, we are going to be having 3 raffles. We just did 1. We are going to be having an additional 2 raffles. If you are lucky, they are going to be part of our 3 consumers plus their besties that we are going to be flying to South Africa.
Senior member of the Gaming Commission, Michelle Smart-Abbey, addressed the gathering, vouching for the transparent nature of the process.
For this draw, as a panel, a committee is set up to look through the mechanisms of it right from the beginning. And if there are anything we think is not right, we send it back to our breweries, just to make sure that they get the right mechanisms for the game. And once we are satisfied, we help them do the draw to select the winner, to ensure that there's fairness and transparency. This draw has been vetted, monitored and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana.
Country marketing lead for Accra Brewery, Vanessa Carvey, announced the available retail points for the Brutal Fruit Spritzer.
You can get your Brutal Fruit Spritzer at any Malcolm store, at any ShopRite store, or the restaurants as well. And if your restaurant doesn't have Brutal Fruit Spritzer, what are they waiting for? Just ask them, guys, you need to get Brutal Fruit Spritzer. So
the promotion continues with 2 more winners set to be crowned in the coming weeks.
We have sports news coming up shortly. Do stay with us.
tasty.
Spray and coil.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the sports segment here on News 360 with me, Horeku Ampofo. We start off from the Ghana Premier League, where Heart of Oak brushed aside their opening day draw against Hoho United to beat Dreams FC in match day 2 action of the 2025-2026 Premier League on Monday. The opening 10 minutes of the clash at the Ni Ajay Kraku, the second park in Tamaso, an intense midfield battle between both sides. Goalkeeper Benjamin Asare was called to duty a number of times to save important situations for the visitors. However, in the 14th minute, the Phobians broke the deadlock with winger Martin Karikari locating Mohamed Hussein outside Dreams FC's penalty box, who sent in a perfect left-footed pass. The midfielder calmly smashed the ball into the back of the net with his left foot to give Heart of Oak the lead. In the end, Hussein's goal proved to be the match winner for the Phobians, who now move up to 4th on the league table with 4 points after 2 games. Heart of Oak will next host 11 Wonders in match day 3 on Sunday. Well, we still stay in Ghana, where defending Ghana Premier League champions BBN Gold Stars have parted ways with head coach Frimpong Manso after they suffered a 2-0 defeat in the 2025-2026 CAF Champions League preliminary round against Algerian side JS Kabylie on Saturday. My colleague Mutala Yakubu has more in the following report.
Ghana Premier League side BBN Gold Stars have parted ways with their manager, Frimpong Manso. This comes on the back of their 2-0 defeat in the CAF Champions League preliminary round against Algerian side JS Kabylie last Saturday at the Accra Sports Stadium. Frimpong Manso joined BBN Gold Stars some 2 seasons ago, but it was last season that he guided them to their first ever Ghana Premier League title, fending off competition from Heart of Lions, Nations FC, and Asante Kotoko. Now, they've started the 2025-2026 Ghana Premier League season well with a 2-1 victory over Bechem United at home, and they carry that confidence into their CAF game against JS Kabylie. Unfortunately, they were humbled by 2-0 and are due to travel for Algeria this weekend to face them in the second leg. It looks like a tall order, and BBN Gold Stars may not be able to overturn the scoreline, but now they have parted ways with their manager and will go into that game without Frimpong Manso.
Before we wrap up, let's head to Europe, where the big stars have arrived for the one that everyone has been waiting for. That's the 2025 Ballon d'Or award, and the ceremony is up and running. And it's to no surprise as Lamine Yamal picked up the first award of the night, picking up the Copa Trophy, the award to the best under-21 player in the world. He picks up for a second time in a row. He's the first ever player to win it consecutive times. And then Sarah Wiegman also winning the Coach of the Year for the women's division. In the men's division, Luis Enrique of PSG, after the treble, also picked up the best men's coach of the year. Gigi Donnarumma for his exploits with Paris Saint-Germain, now with Manchester City, also being awarded with the best goalkeeper of the year. The ceremony is still ongoing in Paris, and we'll be bringing you updates on our social media handles at 3SportsGH, who would be winning the biggest honor of the night. That's the Ballon d'Or award. Front runners currently is Ousmane Dembele and then Lamine Yamal. My name is Ore Kwampofo, and that's how we wrap up the sports segment here on News 360. Adrianola is on standby for entertainment right after this break.
GTP, Lifestyle, and Napa Foods, Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil, powered by 3 Entertainment.
Well, good evening and welcome to the Entertainment News segment here on News 360. My name is Noella Donko. Now from Central to Volta, Afediwa carried the flame of ancestral pride. Her powerful portrayal of the Dani Bakaka Festival paid tribute to memory, resilience, and cultural heritage, earning her the coveted Star Performer Award. Thanks to the outstanding performances by all the GMB queens, no contestants faced eviction on the night.
It was yet another unforgettable night of celebrating beauty and culture with an incredible performance put together by the GMB Queens. Week 8 brought a thrilling twist. The contestants switched regions, stepping out of their comfort zones to embrace the culture and traditions of their fellow queens from across the country.
Not always come from the sword you wield, but in the wisdom of knowing your world and the strength of the land you stand on. It is a peaceful town,
Ajoko channeled the rich heritage of the UT region as she proudly became the voice of Jasikan. Sika journeyed beyond Ashanti and brought Homowo to life. From deep-rooted traditions to vibrant festivities, she embodied the spirit of the Greater Accra region with pride.
We wear the red to symbolize the severity of the famine, lives lost, and how we overcame it. White to symbolize purity, acceptance, and celebration. And this symbol of blindfold is a representation that hunger is forever blinded on this Ghana.
From Central to Volta, Afeziwa carried the ancestral fire through her powerful portrayal of the Denchi Baka Baka festival.
Da means snake, and means clay. Before the people of Pando settled, they needed to cross a vast river. In an attempt to do so, a mysterious rope appeared, enabling them to cross over. Once the last person crossed, he turned and realized that the rope had turned into a snake.
She honored memory, resilience, and earned the Star Performer Award.
Afeziwa is our star performer for the night. Afeziwa.
After such an impressive performance by the Queens, no contestant was evicted on the night.
Ladies and gentlemen, these four have another chance next week to prove themselves. No eviction.
And on to some more stories. 3FM's Afro Connect, which took over the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park, has been crowned with the Osagefo Night Concert. Now, the activity-packed event hosted the Deputy Foreign Minister, James Jachikwason, and members of the Diplomatic Corps. Now, the event further connected African descents through food, music, art, trade, and fashion. Nura Mohammed has more on this report.
From dances by diverse African cultural dance troupes to the Jollof Wars that had over 7 African countries fiercely competing for a grand prize, 3FM's Afro Connect was the place to be today. Parents and their children were amongst the plethora of patrons who graced the event. During the opening ceremony, the Deputy Foreign Minister James Jachikwason expressed Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's vision for a united Africa and stressed on the need for his values and ideals to be adopted by all Africans.
Osagefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah is not just past president of Ghana, he is the beacon of Africa. His vision of a free, united, and prosperous Africa remains the guiding light for all who believe in the power of African solidarity. Dr. Nkrumah's timeless words, and I quote, "The independence of Ghana is meaningless unless it is linked to the total liberation of Africa," unquote, reminds us that our celebration must be matched with action. Action to unite our people.
A business forum held in the form of a panel discussion was spearheaded by executives from the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, GEPA, the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, GIPC, and the CEO of the Ghana Tourism Development Company, Professor Kobi Mensah, to discuss how SMEs can operate without borders.
For us, we've seen these events as quite important, especially for us that are trying to nurture these businesses into export markets. So we see the local ones as the first key or first point of contact to be able to, find some of these SMEs and then nurture them for those who are not in exports already. And for those who are in exports, it's quite important to also let your goods be known locally. So this is a great avenue for us to be able to actually explore the market.
Investment Promotion Center is the foremost investment promotion agency in the country. Basically what we do, we are into research. One of the things that we also are into business matchmaking, facilitating and then,
And that's it for the entertainment news segment here on News 360. My name is Noella Donko.
Coming up, international news.
Botswana has declared a public holiday to celebrate the country's victory in the men's 4x400 meters at the World Athletics Championship in Tokyo, the first African nation to win the event. President Duma Boko hailed the gold medal as a historic African win in an online address praising the team for their performance. He announced Monday, 29 September, as a holiday to celebrate the achievement a day ahead of the country's Independence Day. Last year, Botswana celebrated another historic milestone as Tebogo won the nation's first Olympic gold medal with his victory in the men's 200-meter race in Paris. His triumph, which also marked the first time an African athlete had won the event, became a national sensation, with tens of thousands of people celebrating him at the national stadium in the capital, Gaborone, after he returned to the country. The government...
That's it for our bulletin this evening. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of the holiday. I am Martin Esiedudate.
And I am Portia Gabo. Good evening.